Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the Tanchjim Audio Stargate 2, and this is the Tanchjim Audio Luna, and these are my Honest Audiophile impressions. I want to thank Tanchjim Audio for providing the Stargate 2 and the Luna for review. To greatly appreciate it. Tanchjim Audio, you rock. Alright, so the Tanchjim Audio Stargate 2, this will set you back $38 from your bank account. And the Tanchjim Audio Luna, this will set you back $130 from your bank account. Both of them are USB-C DAC amp dongles. The Stargate 2 has a Sirius Logic CS43131 DAC chip. It is capable of doing 32-bit 768 kHz DSD256, has a frequency response range of 8 Hz to 80 kHz. Dynamic range is 127 dB, and it has the capabilities of supporting DSP and 8-band PEQ functions with the Tanchjim app. And it also has the capabilities of working with an inline microphone. It has 82 milliwatts of power at 16 ohms, 75 milliwatts at 32 ohms. The Luna. This has dual CS43198 DAC chip, and it has the abilities of doing 32-bit 768 along with DSD256. Frequency response range of 8 Hz to 80 kHz. Dynamic range is 132 dB. SNR is 132 dB. THD and N is 0.00014%. It also has a switchable class ABH amp mode, high-low gain, and a non-linear volume control. It has 285 milliwatts at 32 ohm and 54 milliwatts at 300 ohm. It does also support the DSP and 8-band PEQ functions and is compatible with the Tanchjim app. The Luna and also the Stargate 2 are, normal looking dongles. So the Stargate 2 is very small, and it has this real cool little, glass look in, and a USB-C connected cable, 3.5 single-ended only. And then the Luna does have a detachable USB-C. You have your volume rocker, and pressing and holding it will change your gains. And then 4.4 balanced out, 3.5 output. And it also has a little bit more design on it. It's kind of cool looking. Definitely bigger in size than the Stargate. I like the look of the Luna, but I also like the look of the Stargate 2. Both of them are very nice and attractive looking and don't take up a whole lot of space. Also, they both are compatible with Android and PC and Windows. I had no problems whatsoever connecting them to all of my devices. I do not have any Apple devices, so I do not know if they are compatible with Apple or iOS. The Luna and Stargate 2 have a app that is proprietary with Tanchjim, and you can download that and use it, and you can change DSPs and EQs. It's kind of fun to play around with and use, and it worked very well with my Samsung S24 Ultra. All right, so how do they sound? Let's start with the Stargate 2. The Stargate 2 comes in at $38, and it has the power range that is pretty common in that price point of 82 milliwatts at 16 ohms, 75 milliwatts at 32 ohms. So it's not the most powerful of dongles, but it will power the majority of IEMs. It struggled a little bit with harder to drive IEMs, especially most noticeable were planar IEMs. You had to go pretty high up on the volume to get the most out of them. It got them loud, but it really didn't bring them out to their full potential. Overall, though, the Stargate 2 has a neutral, warm, leaning sound presentation. Nice and robust bottom end. There's a lot of power, a lot of authority, and a good amount of just girthiness to the bass. There's a nice rumble and grumble down in the sub bass regions. You get some there, and then it has nice mid bass punch and kick and slam, and then the upper bass stays well controlled. Overall, the bass has a fun factor to it, but yet also a controlled presentation. Good details and resolution, and overall I find that the tonality is quite natural. The mids have a little bit of a warmth, a lushness to them. There's a little bit of musicality in the mid-range of the Stargate 2, and I find that it has just fullness to it. There's a connection to the music, and tonality wise, instruments and vocalists sound very accurate and true, and it's very easy to follow and determine what instruments are what. I find that the details and resolution in the mid-range is also very good, and it is very nicely balanced and cohesive along with the bass. It doesn't try to fight for attention. It's not too forward or recessed. It's very evenly balanced with the bass. Going into the treble is nicely extended. There's good air and space throughout, and also I find that it's balanced and cohesive with the mids and the bass. And just like the bass and the mids, it has nice tonality. Everything sounds very natural and accurate, and there's this pleasurableness about the treble. It doesn't have too much energy or not enough. It walks the line of staying controlled, and it doesn't go into fatigue mode, but it also doesn't go into boring mode, and it just kind of has the right amount and a nice approach to things. So I find that the bass, the mids, and the treble of the Stargate 2 are very well controlled, and it does a very nice job of staying balanced and cohesive and just giving this musical kind of a fun factory type of music. It's very engaging, while at the same time giving enough technicalities and having enough air and space to give you some of the analytical side. But for the most part, it's more leaning towards a little bit warmer, lusher approach. Soundstage wise, it's not the widest of stages. It does an okay job of showing you venues of small, medium, and large. It doesn't really get into that grand open, wide open spaces, but it does a good enough job of sounding wide and revealing venue sizes without being super expansive. Depth wise is good, and then it has nice layering. Things aren't fighting for attention and aren't crowding in upon each other. They all get their own little space, and I find that imaging is pretty good as well. And I find that the soundstage does enough to keep things from sounding too close and too intimate, but yet also at the same time doesn't sound super expansive and super wide. Detail retrieval and resolution is also good on the Stargate 2. I find that I wasn't missing anything, and I was getting more than enough information. And at times I was going, oh, I don't normally hear this in a dongle of this price point. And then tone and timbre is very natural and accurate. Everything sounds accurate and true. So the Stargate 2, a very, very good dongle for $38. I'm rather impressed. And it is one of my favorites in this price point. Going on to the Luna. Now the Luna costs $130, and you have a dual DAC chips, and then you also have a significant amount more power than you do with the Stargate 2 at 285 milliwatts of power at 32 ohms, and then all the way up to 54 milliwatts at 300 ohm. The Luna is capable of powering all IEMs. I had no issues even with the more pesky planar IEMs or harder to drive IEMs. No problems whatsoever. Barely ever got over 50% on the volume. And I also found that the Luna fared fairly decently with over-ear headphones, especially easier to drive over-ear headphones. Now, it's not going to drive the most harder, more demanding headphones, especially things 300 ohms and up. It's really going to struggle there. But with some of the more sensitive headphones, it'll get those fairly loud, especially for portable use. The Luna, how does it sound? So the Luna has a similar presentation to the Stargate, except it expands upon it. And it takes it and just kind of brings forth all of the good that the Stargate does and makes it better. So the bass has more power, more authority, and it is better controlled, has more rumble and grumble and better texture. And overall, I find that it's just deeper and a more full sounding, and just has a more engaging type of presentation. It really drives home, and it has a nice fullness with good natural tone and timbre and excellent detail retrieval and resolution. I find that it's very refined, defined, and focused, and you can really nitpick apart the bass regions, and you can go, that's that, the debut, you can really tell every little element that's going on in the bass, and it all kind of just powers through and really brings things together and makes an impact with punch and slam and kick. And yet at the same time, you get a little bit of that fun factor and that little musicality side of things, along with all the analytical clinical stuff. Then going into the mids have a similar presentation to the Stargate 2, while still having that bigger, bolder, more full sound of presentation. Everything just sounds bigger and better, and the tone and timbre is very natural and accurate. Every instrument sounds accurate to its lifelike instruments, and vocalists sound alive and sound realistic, and everything just sounds right there. It's just you're in the moment, while also at the same time being able to diagnose and being able to dissect the elements within the mid-range. Everything gets its own little place, and you can go, that's a clarinet, that's a bassoon, that's a trumpet, that's a trombone, that's a flute, oboe. You can pick apart all of your little instruments and follow them through the track, and they sound natural and accurate, along with the different vocalists. If you're listening to 4-part, 6-part harmonies, you can listen to each and every little vocalist and go and follow them around throughout the tracks. It does a very good job of staying very well controlled in the mid-range and allowing you to nitpick but also enjoy. And then going into the treble extends nicely. There's good air, nice space, nice energy throughout, and it has those moments where it's a little brisk and a little vivid and a little bit bright and hot. But then it also has the moments where it takes a little back seat and it's a little more chill and a little bit more laid back. It does a really good job of giving you exactly the temperature of the music at that moment in the treble. It's a very well controlled and well tempered treble. It never seems to go into extreme fatigue mode, but it never also goes into boring mode. It walks the line and it gives you the exact moment and portrays it exactly as it should be in the treble. The Luna is a very good, balanced, cohesive bass, mids, and treble. Everything plays together very well, and it just sounds a very natural and very true when it comes to its tone and timbre in the treble, the mids, and the bass. And then you get all the details in the resolution, and everything just comes together. Bass, mids, and treble will rise. It's just a very cohesive, very balanced, very even sound. Soundstage of the Luna is wide. It has a nice presentation of small, medium, large, and you get that grand size of things. And it does a very nice job of being expansive, but yet not sounding artificial. It does a good job of staying very natural sounding, while also giving you a good presentation of small, medium, and large. It can get very, very intimate if that's the way that track is recorded, or it can get very expansive if that's the way the track is recorded. Also, it has really good depth. You can really look into the stage, and it has nice layering. Everything stays in its own little place, and you can dissect it, and you can follow it along very well. Everything has its own little place and plays very well. You can follow and track things throughout very well. The details and resolution of the Luna are also fantastic. I found that I was not missing anything at all, and it's very refined, defined, and focused, and definitely takes a step up from the Stargate 2 in that regard. You can really pinpoint and dissect the stage very well with its details and resolution capabilities of the Luna. And then tone and timbre, very natural and accurate. Everything sounds exactly as it should when comparing to lifelike sounds. So the Luna and Stargate 2. I like both of them a whole lot, and I find that they are very good values for what they offer. The Stargate 2 coming at $38 is exceptional and pairs with pretty much anything. It does struggle a little bit with a little bit more demanding gear, but for the majority of IEMs, it's going to do very well, and it has a very nice tone, timbre, and good details and resolution for the price tag. And for $130, the Luna really competes with other price tagged dongles in that range, and it outperforms a lot of them, especially with details, resolution, and its very technical abilities with its soundstage, imaging, and placement, and tone and timbre very natural. I find that I like both of them a whole lot and highly recommend both the Luna and the Stargate 2. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on the screen, subscription links and notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video, and check out all the links down below. There's all kinds of information on there regarding how you can contact the channel, follow the channel, support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, I want to thank my supporters through Patreon and YouTube memberships. Thank you very much for all that you provide. Also, I want to thank the supporters through one-time gifts. Thank you very much for all that you've provided, and it is greatly appreciated. If you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the links down below. There's all kinds of ways that you can do that. Also down below, there's other information regarding music recommendations, gear rankings, all that kind of stuff is listed down below. And lastly, don't forget to enjoy the music, and that honesty is the best policy.